Here we go with some more Netrunner. Got some games here from the August Games of Berkeley tournament. So this is the first shuffle here. Neither player's taken a mulligan yet. This is a bit of a longer game, so get comfortable. But I kind of scrubbed through it, and it looks really interesting. So I wanted to watch this one and give it some commentating. See what happens. So we have Express on the left and the Foundry on the right. I know Jamie is playing on the right. He works at Games of Berkeley, helps a lot with the tournaments, and is playing Netrunner a lot. And he has the fantastic Batman fighting a shark with a lightsaber mat, which I'm very happy to feature on the channel. I apologize to the player on the left. I'm not sure who that is. I didn't take notes like I did at regionals. So it looks like we've got a mulligan from Express. Express, he basically gets a credit every time he plays a run event. So things like Account Siphon and Stim Hack, Maker's Eye, those types of events will pay him a credit just for playing them. And I'm trying to remember if that's limited per turn. That might be limited once per turn. I can't remember. And the Foundry is a new ID, which whenever that player reses an ice, can search through R&D for another copy of that ice, reveal it, and put it into HQ. So that seems like a really good ability to me. You know, people are always comparing to Engineering the Future. I haven't played with the Foundry myself yet, but really interesting new ID. So probably motivated to res ice early just to get more copies of it, but decides not to res that one. He's at 6 credits, might be too expensive. And that is next ice. Is that next bronze, I believe? So he's playing Express Delivery here to go look at 4 cards, keep 1, and shuffle the remaining ones into his stack. And I didn't notice if the Corp used his ability there. I missed that, but I believe the Corp forgot to use his ability there, so hopefully he'll remember real soon. As you do not want to forget that on a next dice. It's really good with the next dice, just because the next dice have that network effect. They get more powerful the more next dice you have rezzed. I didn't quite see what he ordered on eBay there, but he got some card that he liked, presumably. No run events yet. I'm sure he would have liked a Dirty Laundry here. Maybe hit into R&D at this point would have been a really good play. I guess he already seen the R&D card, but or into Archives. Those Dirty Laundries turn into a sure gamble with that ability, which is really good. So he is just using Jackson Howard this turn, trying to improve his hand. And the runner, especially with Armitage out, should almost certainly go attempt to trash that Jackson Howard. Never want Jackson Howard on the table, especially not here in the early game when the Corp can use him to just get all the cards he needs to stop you in your hacking attempts. First click, we're drawing up some cards. Really looking for something here. He's maybe looking for a breaker to get through HQ, maybe trying to run a siphon. But he does run on Jackson Howard and forcing the Corp to use them, taking all 3 cards that were in Archives, shuffling them into R&D. And I think a check on the top R&D would be good here, as the Corp did not res that ice last time you made a run there, so you could be pretty sure not going to be resing it this turn. I would even try a Dirty Laundry in that case. He takes the Efficiency Committee. Puts down the same old thing. Right now, I can only play that Express Delivery, I think. Alright, so he takes a credit and plays a Sure Gamble. Hedge Fund, Corp Sure Gamble. I always get those two confused, but I think everyone knows what you mean when you say Sure Gamble. And he installs some more ice over HQ. Very good play. The runner's been really looking for some cards, so you have to kind of assume you're playing criminal. You have to assume that the runner here is looking for a way to siphon. Easy mark there. Given some credits. And he plays down a Plascrete, which is really interesting. I mean, maybe he's seen a Scorched Earth on the top of R&D there that we haven't seen. But I would not, you know, automatically put down a Plascrete against HB like this. Unless I'd seen some influence. Maybe yes. Or maybe just playing safe. And we have a remote down with what could be an agenda. Gets a Desperado down, making those dirty laundries into better than sure gambles. Still no resin on R&D, and man, R&D is giving up those agendas. Gotta res that ice. Makes you wonder what it is. He has all these credits. With this number of credits though, put a remote server out, you... Very interesting. Yeah, so he wanted to have enough credits to res the Adonis campaign service turn and res the Eli, so that could be why he didn't res that R&D ice. It looks like he just takes credits for his turn, but now he has the Adonis campaign up, and it's pretty expensive to go trash. It would the runner can do it right now. You need to take Adonis money. He would need to take the money off Armitage and run in and click through Eli, and it would cost him his whole turn and a bunch of money. So it looks like he's letting that one go. I would have really considered trashing the Adonis. So the Corp's pretty low on money at this point. That's his economy right now, is that Adonis campaign. So it would be a priority for me, but runner has other plans. Maybe he's gonna... Oh, okay. Yeah, perfect. So he had just enough money to do that because the inside job is a run event, so it pays him a credit. And he had the Desperado as a bonus there. So that was probably a pretty good way to do it. Cost him, I think, about the same amount of credits, and he got to draw some cards on his turn. So not bad. And now there's another card there down in the remote, and that is a little bit too expensive to check now. And I'm gonna hate if I get this wrong. I think that's an Ichi 1. No, that wouldn't be an Ichi 1. No, okay, that's the oh my god, Victor 2. Yeah. Victor, I believe that's the Victor 2, and he clicks through it. I don't know why, but Victor and Ichi, sometimes I get those confused. Is he just completely forgetting to use the Foundry build? That is the Foundry, I hope. I am looking at this video in a slightly lower resolution. Oh, that's not the Foundry. I had this wrong the whole time. That is Custom Biotics, isn't it? Sorry. Okay. I keep calling it the Foundry and yeah, that is totally Custom Biotics. I apologize for that. Not doing my job here. The video is a little blurry when I watch it in the preview window here. For some reason, it looked like the Foundry to me. That is Custom Biotics. So Custom Biotics just has 22 influence is its ability. Yeah, really sorry about that. Just casting this whole Corp game wrong. But I'm sure a lot of viewers there were going crazy as they're looking at that in nice HD quality and saying that is definitely not the Foundry. What are you talking about? So his ability is just having 22 influence, cannot include Jinteki cards. And yeah, so now that Plascrete play makes a little more sense, as it is pretty common to include Scorched Earth in Custom Biotics. Just it being a high influence card, any high influence card, you kind of have to think about. So yeah, he may have actually seen a Scorched Earth. I can't quite see if there's a Scorched Earth in the Corp's hand right now, but he might have seen one on one of those R&D accesses, or he might just be kind of playing against the ID. Looks like he trashes a Net Celebrity there. It's interesting to include in Corp. In Runner. In Criminal. C. Criminal Corp. There we go. Sorry, I took a break here from commentating for about a week, and apparently I'm a little rusty. And another next ice being rezzed. It's next silver. Although I tend to get the artwork on silver and bronze confused. It's definitely one of the two next ice. Should have those cards next to me for reference. And he special orders a corroder out. So now he has the corroder and the passport out, meaning he can siphon HQ. I don't know if he could do it this turn. Looks like he only has one click left. Probably not going to happen. And he takes some credits off Armitage. Okay, Corp's turn is to take a couple credits and use those credits to hedge fund. Really curious what's behind Eli there. And the siphon could be coming in here. Ooh. It was a little bit risky there. Could have been a roto turret. But he can get through this. This is a second click, so he could click through the Victor. Yeah, so he's trying to pay 1 to break that, but I think there's 3 subroutines on that. So he can do it. It's really expensive. So yeah, I believe he paid 3, he clicked through, and then Desperado paid him 1. Wow, that is super expensive for a single R&D access. And more econ coming down the pipe. He has 3 next ice out at this point in the game. You need parasites to take out. You need to start chopping through those. That's way too much money. So the next bronze. Oh yeah, so the next bronze is on HQ on the outermost one. That one is 3 strength, I believe. I think it starts at 0. And then the 2 next silvers each have 3 subroutines on them. This is very expensive ice out here. Corp just biding his time. Gonna let Eve campaign pay out. Going to build out servers some more. And then, you know, we haven't really seen what that influence is going into yet, so it's being kept secret. If I'm a runner, that has me really worried. I think installing that Plascrete earlier was probably a smart idea. And you're not really seeing any, I don't know, like tagging. I'm not seeing a lot of tagging, right? With all that influence, I would not be surprised to see mid-seasons. But mid-seasons is almost off the table. If you could score 1 more agenda before he could get mid-seasons online, then you've taken that off the table.
I lost horribly my first game.
So he restructures and he uses his money to buff up his centrals. We have 7 ice installed. And I hate seeing this one on the runner. Just so much ice. It's too expensive to do anything. The runner looks to have a knight in hand, and the runner really needs a siphon. A siphon here would be major. Would probably be really expensive to pull off, though. Might not even net a profit when all is said and done, as he'd probably. I mean, you could risk it just running into HQ at this point, hoping that outer ice is not something like a roto turret. But it is a bit of a risk. And if he reses something that's expensive, you're not going to have money to siphon. So I guess, you know, siphon might not be the best play right now. But he definitely needs to slow down this Corp. So he sees an Eve campaign and he lets it float. It's dangerous. I mean, he he didn't have any more money on the table. Doesn't have another Armitage out or anything like that. Surprised not resing the Eve campaign right now.
And 3 credits.
Just building up more credits. Really curious what he has in hand there. I'll have to try and peek here. Keeping them real secret, even from us. Where are the run events? Where are the dirty laundries? Dirty laundry on archives right now would be so good. Eve campaign, paint out some more. Hopefully gonna res that second Eve campaign. Can't think of a real reason not to, but maybe he has plans. Looking for some cards, and he very wisely ices up archives before the runner can get in there and get some free data suckers and get some free credits. It's not looking good for Express here. I mean, he's at 4 points. That part's good, but I don't know. I haven't played a lot with Express, but when I think of Express, I'm thinking you're making run events. You're not really playing like a big rig style. Might not have things like R&D interface. You might not have a lot of ways to make your runs more efficient. He's going for an indexing here. Oh my god, next silver. Okay, yeah, I definitely had these backwards. Next silver on the outside, next bronze on the inside. That is a 4 subroutine next silver. There are 4 next ice resed. Basically having to pay a lot of money. Passport, I'm not sure the math on that, but... Oh, and he's spending clicks here because he doesn't have enough money to break it. So he's not going to be able to get in again this turn. But does he see an agenda? A little bit hard to say there with the glare. Sees an agenda, he might just stick it on the bottom or the 3rd card, something like that. Hoping the Corp doesn't draw it. This is has a nice little side benefit against custom biotics, is you're seeing just 5 of their cards all at once, so it might give you an idea what's going on. And I think he does see a Project Ares, so that gives you a lot of hints about what's going on. That would make me think that the Corp has mid-seasons, is going to try and dump a bunch of tags on me, is going to try and clear my whole board state with Project Ares. That's what I would have in mind. Okay, now we have Adonis and Eve online, paying out big time. Runner breaking these next ice doesn't really have a lot of money left to trash assets, so those campaigns are pretty successful. Definitely looking for a card at this point. I'm curious if he's looking for a mid-season maybe. Even with all that influence, you might only have 1 or 2 copies in there. The deck is really trying to pull off Project Ares, and I would suspect he has at least 2, maybe up to 3. Okay, so he is getting some money out of archives with Reclamation Order. So he spends 2 clicks and a credit to get 2 hedge funds. That is, if you do the math on that, it's another couple clicks for a total of 8 credits. So it's 8 credits for 3 clicks and a credit. Seems worth it. That's the type of thing that you probably wouldn't want to do with like a archive memory. But getting 2 hedge funds back at once. Well, I don't know, that's the same thing as archive memory, right? Because you could have archive memory twice. It's good money. Click for 4 clicks for a credit. 4 clicks for a credit. That would be really good. The other way around. Runner has an inside job in hand. That's not going to do him much good. And I think still has that knight. Knight also not doing much here at this point. Could probably help with one of those Next bronze, I guess. So you have to pay the strength. Wow, nice. That indexing did pay out. And he was able to use the inside job there. In a lot of cases that wouldn't be a good play, but that ice is just so expensive to break. Costs 4 credits to get through. And so he did it for 1 with that inside job, because inside job pays him a credit just for playing it. So he saved 3 credits on that exchange. Corp has so much money. I would be so worried about taking an agenda. He took an agenda and he's at 1 credit. Oh no. Double hedge fund. If he has the mid-season, it's coming in right now. This is his last chance to play it. If he didn't have it, I would have hoped that he would just draw on to try and get it. So it's too good. There it is. He only has 1 credit, so he's going to take all these tags probably. Trace 11. How many cards does he have? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He has 7 cards installed. Worth pointing out. And the difference between 7 and 11 is 4, which is how much you need to advance Ares. I'm just curious if that math was intentional, maybe.
No paper tripping, no paper tripping, no paper tripping.
There's Jamie praying that the runner doesn't have paper tripping. And he does not, because he would have had to play it right then. It is a priority event, meaning you have to play it immediately as your first click. Which is an interesting balance on that card. You can't go count siphon 3 times in your turn and then clear all your tags right then and there in your last click. Gotta float those tags for a turn. He just takes some credit, then draws the cards, take a credit. And Eve Adonis paying out 5 credits a turn. I love having both Eve and Adonis online. Yeah, they're both see it coming, but it's still gonna be fun to watch, right? So he just draws up his first card. He knows he's playing out 2 cards, so I might as well drop a card first just to see if maybe he could have got some agenda he'd rather score right now, but he's gonna score Ares at 11, which does wipe the runner's whole board. Just right then and there. And he does take that bad pub. Wow. I've never really seen Ares pay out that much. But he made it happen. And I don't know if the runner could have done anything. I mean, the runner needs to score agendas. I think he did the right thing. Like, you just have to hope that the runner didn't have mid-seasons. I think was his best bet. Or maybe the indexing could have had 2 agendas in there and you could have saved up and got in again. Puts a Desperado out. I don't think that's going to matter too much. The advantage the runner has here is he only needs to get 1 more credit, but he needs to get 2 breakers online to even access the top of R&D. And the Corp just has so much money right now. Those campaigns paying out. It's a little hard for me to read, but I think he's at 23, 24 credits. And the Corp does not really have a strong remote right now, but wouldn't take much to bring one online. I think you need to install a couple end the run, or an end the run and something else, just because do have the inside jobs. So runner here trying to build up his board state again. Security testing, he can bounce off that Eve campaign that has not been used yet. And that'll help out with his economy. It's a click for 3 credits with that Desperado. I think the Corp needs to ice up that Eve campaign. Or get rid of it, replace it with something like a Jackson Howard. It's going to let him get the credits this turn. These types of games as a runner, they haunt me. The ones where you get to 6 points and then just get locked out. So security testing, he gets his 3 credits. The way I've been doing security testing recently as a corp is I just tell the runner to tell me when the security testing server changes. So like on the security test archives, I'll just say, just tell me when that changes. We'll just assume it's archives up until then. Because I got sick of telling or asking the runner each turn what they wanted to security test when generally they'd keep it on the same target. It's another express delivery. I think he just needs breakers at this point. I mean, hopefully he has another corroder in there, another passport. If he doesn't, this is just slowly waiting to lose. And I missed it on the last turn, but the corp did install ice over that Eli there on the remote, so he is definitely getting ready to score stuff out. He's only played 1 psychographic, so I think we could expect another psychographic soon. His influence is probably psychographics, mid-seasons, and then maybe Scorched Earth. I don't remember all the influence on that. Okay, that end the turn. And he gives up the indexing. That's sad to see go. I mean, that if he had the breakers, you know, he has a knight in hand, so that would mean he would only need a code gate breaker to get into R&D, and then a lot of credits. But that was a possible play. I guess he could same old thing it. He could same old thing the indexing. He could have done that in any case because there's another indexing in there. But he could same old thing it, and then he could get in a couple times, and that's his best play at this point. It's a rough place to be in. But it's all based on him getting code gate breaker. So I think you need to probably make all that happen in 1 turn. Data Sucker. So he's putting Data Sucker, Desperado down. I mean, I think that's arguable if that's worth it at this point. Just not gonna really pay off that much at this point. Like, how much are you getting into these central servers without breakers? You could try archives. I think security testing archives and trying for that could be worth it. Corp at this point has just too much money though. Whatever ice there is going to be rezzed. I think the corp at this point is just kind of defending up his centrals more, just making sure the runner can't ever get in again. Building up money to res that ice, and then just waiting for psychographics to come through. It's something interesting to point out is he did blow up the Plascrete with that Project Ares, so maybe he's trying to draw into like a second Scorched Earth. He discards a ninja. Curious what he's keeping in his hand. Ditching breakers. Breakers at this point seem to be the most important thing. And then economy, so very close second. So he's reclamation ordering just to get the 1 psychographics back. So we're going to see another score this following turn. And I don't think the runner can really stop that. Security test at Eve campaign again. Man, I would have put that ice he installed over archives in front of that Eve. Just the runner is not really interested in archives. Maybe there's agendas in there though. That is a possibility. Especially as a corp, you got to consider like this type of deck has a lot of hand management problems, trying to hold on to things like mid seasons and psychos and possibly Scorch. Might be a point in the game where he does throw something in archives. An inside job there on archives might be worth a try. it'd be better when he's low on credits. He over advances to Vitruvius by 5 times. Advance at 8. So now he could get that psychographics back as many times as he needs. And econ when he needs it. So yeah, he was well ahead in credits there. I mean, he got 5 at the start of his turn. He just invested that 5 into that over advancement. I think that was a very wise move. The runner, though, that security testing is really paying off. Just a click for 3 credits. It's amazing how far ahead that puts you if you do that every turn. I mean, that is like playing Katie Jones, but without that click to take the credits off. It's better than Katie Jones. So he plays Levy. The influence in this deck is, it looks like at least 2 indexing. He has a knight, a couple data suckers at least, and probably 1 Levy. I haven't actually been adding that up in my head, but and so I think it's going to be too little too late here, but that might be his only way to get these breakers back, so if that was the case. I mean, if he gets lucky here and draws a passport, at least 5 cards, he gets a siphon, looks like an indexing, couldn't really tell what else. All the runner needs at this point is 1 R&D access. If he gets a little lucky, that can win it. Looks like he had a planned assault. And this will get his inside jobs back too, which I think will be pretty good for him. Would love to see an inside job on archives. Yeah, so once he got that Vitruvius scored, though, if there are agendas in archives, they're going to get pulled out before he could get in there. Ooh, he had a Scorched Earth in archives. So he scorches there twice. Does it a 3rd time for some reason, but he had a scorch there in archives. I guess he just scored that Vitruvius, and then yeah, it felt like a couple turns there because the runner did the Levy, which took a little bit of time to shuffle and all that. But yeah, I guess that Vitruvius was just a good way to get that 1 Scorched Earth played a lot. Oh my god, so he had the information overload there in front of HQ, which would have once again wiped his board state. So yeah, he just wants to wipe your board as much as possible there as a corp. So that is the game. I thought it was a little bit interesting seeing that Ares actually being pulled off, and victory there with the Scorched Earth. So the video cut off, the commentary's still going. I hope that works out. We'll see how that goes. This is a little bit of an experiment. So thanks for watching. I'll probably have a couple more games from this tournament. There was a lot of long games, so I don't often want to commentate those just because it's too long, but this one was a little bit special. We'll have more soon. Thank you.